Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am SAZ Darin Annisa Fakhira, and today I'm with my partner,
Annisa Fakhira.
and we're from the 11th grade of Social Life. Today we will be doing a podcast interview with Mrs. Fira. Hi.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for coming.
All right. So Mrs. Fira, are you ready for this interview?
I am.
All right. Let's start with the first question. What is your educational background and what was your major?
So I took communications, right? Precisely to be more specific, it was public relations. Although nowadays my work is far from the public relations, but still with communications.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you have any previous jobs that have any relations to your major?
So when I first started in the first office that I worked, I was still a receptionist because I was still a fresh graduate. Okay, I think with my parents' background, a lot of people were like wondering why would I take a job that is a starting level, I would say. So I took. Would it be okay to mention a company?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I work at Sampurna Group. Okay. So as a receptionist in one of the company, which is Sampurna Telekomunikasi. I was there for 6 months, and then I had an opportunity to be part of their general affairs. So in general affairs, it's more, administrative jobs. It was far from communication. However, I think my major boosted my role as a general affair when it comes to have to liaise with other departments and also the outside factor of the company. So maybe scope-wise, I wouldn't say that public relation was my job, but still knowing the background of communication, it helped me while interacting with other people. So I would say, not really, I didn't end up working as a public relation.
I see.
If you don't mind, what was the reason you chose the major you took?
Okay. So I wanted to be like my father. My father was a diplomat. Okay, so ever since I was young, I traveled in many countries, and I thought that if I were be able to become almost like him, I wanted to pursue that dream. But if I took sospol ya, FISIP, right, kalau bahasa Indonesianya, okay, international major, I was thinking that if I didn't get to Kemlu, then what would be my backup? And I think a part of me was too scared to just go into deep for politics or international knowledge and everything, right? So I ended up taking communications. Just in case I don't make it, then I think any company would have a public relation or sometimes it's marketing also, right? So I was mixed in that kind of condition, so I ended up taking public relation. And I like being around people, so I think it would be great to know the proper knowledge, the proper skill to enhance that.
So was it difficult to adapt your job now for your on your recent job?
Okay, you'd be surprised that from public relations or communications, I end up being a human capital coordinator. I end up working for human resources. So some company call it human resources. In our company we call it human capital. So when I started my first job, as I mentioned, it was 6 months as a receptionist, and then I ended up being in general affair. And after after that, after 2 years, I thought it was enough for me to be in that same company because it was my first job. I wanted to explore more, so I got recruited at ISS. If you know, in Bintaro, there's this ISS facility management. Maybe you see people at mall working as janitor, security. That's the company that I work for. But I was working for their global contract. So ISS has 2 contracts, okay? The local, which is like some companies, Indonesian companies, and then there are some other companies which we call it global contract, like HP, British Embassy, and then we have, if I'm not mistaken, Rolls-Royce, yeah. And then some other companies, which I'm not sure now they still have that contract or not. So I was in the global contract. I worked there for I think 3 years, and then I did some time off because I got pregnant. Okay, and now it's my 5th year at British School Jakarta. Okay, when I first joined, it was also not directly to human resources. I was back into an environment that supported the school, which is what we call campus facilities, okay, and projects. So each year, the school will upgrade their facilities like swim pool, gymnastic area, and other facilities at school. On my 3rd year, there was an internal vacancy at my office now. As a human capital, I ended up applying for that job, yeah, and I got the opportunity to take the certification for human capital. So now I'm actually enjoying myself as a human capital coordinator. So I think it's all back again to the communication that I do, because once you're in human capital, I think I have more opportunity to interact with a lot of people. In our school is almost 350 staff, yeah, so mostly they're expats. So you have to be able to accommodate all of their needs and all their inquiries. So I think up until now, I'm grateful that I ended up taking communication as my background. Okay,
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you work in the British School in Jakarta, right?
Mhm.
Now, what does it feel, to be working there as a staff? Do you like it? Is there any advantage or disadvantage? Can you tell us?
I like it so much because in my previous companies, I worked for corporate. So corporate are very, it's great for, I think, I'm not being gender basis or status basis, but now that I have 2 children, I think working at the school is a proper timing and proper place because it's a shorter hour, and then for me, there are a lot of benefits. Our school really take care of the employees' benefits. Yeah, we're talking about a lot of package like medical, and then a lot of other things maybe not mentioned here. Also, because I like reading, I think working at school I can actually borrow a lot of books, okay? So that always, abuse your library, okay? Yes. Because many people, I can see, they like reading, but a lot have shifted from paper-based book into something more digital, like Kindle and everything. But I think there's still some beauty when you can actually touch the papers. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I like working at school. And then I work from 7:30 and I finish at 4. But yeah, sometimes I don't really go at 4. Sometimes I go home at 5. But still, compared to working at corporates where you get off at 6 or 6:30, you leave home to go to Sudirman at 5 o'clock, right? This kind of thing. The traffic, and then you be home by 9. If you have children, when will be the time for you to spend, right? So I think, right now, working at the school is very beneficial. Yeah.
It's very interesting to hear. Now, what about the disadvantages? Is there any disadvantages, or are there anything that is there anything that you don't like? Can you tell us?
I don't think I really like. Okay, maybe because I really like the job that I'm doing now, I don't see it as a disadvantage. Okay, but sometimes I do wonder if I work somewhere else, okay, or maybe continued at ISS, maybe my career would really take off, right? Because at ISS I left as a facility manager. So while at school, you don't really, I mean, you have a career, but it wouldn't be the same if you're in a corporate. So if, let's say, one of you or both of you are dreaming to be the very top level, okay? At school, it's very specific. So for myself to be in a higher level, it would require many years of experience, right? And it's just a small, it's a bit limited, okay? But if you're pursuing a career, like you want to be the CEO and those kind of things, I think it's good in corporate. So it depends on how you see it. I see it not as a disadvantage because I already enjoy what I'm doing, and if in the future, of course, I get promoted, then that would be an advantage, but I don't see it as a disadvantage as well if I don't, right? So yeah, I think no disadvantage. Unless you really want a career, then school is not your place. It's a bit limited, that's all.
So, since we're high schoolers,
Yeah.
can you give us some advice, especially the ones who aren't able to decide what major they should take, or maybe they're struggling and feel like they're taking the wrong major?
Yeah, maybe what I would say is that if you have like your passion right now, okay, you could jot it down or note down why, the very big reason why you're so interested in that specific, right? And then be more proactive. I think you could actually seek opportunities where if there are companies or institutions or organizations that may be open as a part-time or for you to observe, you can approach them. So you could actually like go and feel, at least even if it's not the full day, or I mean, if you're lucky enough, some places they open up for a part-timer, right? Or so you can actually get the vibe whether this is really something that suits you or not. Because I found a lot of people through my school years, okay, during the university, where they end up stopping at midway of their school because they felt that it was not their right path. But they end up being successful at their current path because, yeah, they actually found out that communication was not their thing. Yeah, so I think it's always find out first why you like it so much for that specific thing, okay, and then try to reach out to people that has that career. Yeah, so it will you can understand more about what you're going to go through to be there, and probably that.
All right. Since we're high schoolers, you know, we're getting closer to, you know, getting to universities. How did you get into uni with a scholarship? And how do you get into the best unis in Indonesia?
Okay, so I haven't been really following how it goes now, yeah. But in the past, because I wanted communications, I mean, I did try for UI at that time. I wanted to go to English major or French major, because communication was also there, but I know it was a lot of, you're kind of competing with thousands of people.
Yes.
So you make a lot of options, right? Yeah. So don't just focus in one, okay? We're not, I mean, unless you want to go to a university, a more private university that will definitely accept you. But if you want to try like university like UI or any universities in negeri, yeah, you always have to have backup so you just don't get that disappointed, yeah? For me, I think I was trying so much to prepare myself, trying to get ready for the exams. But since I was like competing with a lot of people, I didn't really actually get into it. So I ended up going to Mustafa, which is a more kayak swasta ya, kayak gitu.
Private
Ya,
school.
private school. Yeah. Well, you have the chance. Okay, fight for it.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're actually, when I was like taking the test, I forgot itu tuh numpang ya in one of the SMA in Jakarta. I think it was near UI, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm actually like competing with like the whole building was competing the same thing with me. You know, it was like yeah, I got kind of scared. Okay, I didn't get through because of that too. I was a bit scared, yeah.
Now, I have a question.
Mhm.
Since you took communication as your major, can you tell us what it's like?
Mhm.
Maybe so that people who are interested in
Mhm.
taking communication can take notes of this.
Okay, I think communication itself, it's been divided as well. Yeah, you have like public relations, and then also one of them is journalism. So a lot of my friends went to journalism, which is much more deeper than public relation. I think public relation, you're trying to be the front line when facing with the community, for example, right? Like you're representing the company that you're working for. Okay. In my opinion, I think what I like so much is that you go really in deep. If you like literature or writing, going to communication is good because you're actually digesting a lot of theory. Okay, it's like the very basic thing. When you're who says what in which channel to whom. That's one of the very basic theory in communications. So who is saying what to whom, through what channel or through what media, okay? And then what is the effect from that? And then you're also learning about, I forgot the word, but it was, table manner, those kind of things as well. And then also a lot of, even broadcasting, they had class as well for that. So yeah, it's interesting, but a lot of study case, so you're expecting that, okay, in one of the year, you're expected to be able to answer a lot of questions, okay, when the professor give you a study case, and then how are you dealing it as a public relation.
Okay, I see. You said that now communication is your major, but you said that you now have a completely different job. Do you have any plans, maybe to change careers, change jobs?
Okay, I think I should have taken HR. From the beginning, because even HR is very interesting because especially if you're interested in psychology, right? A lot of company actually, I think all companies who will have an HR, yeah, a proper company will have an HR. So I like in HR, since I get to meet a lot of people, you observe a lot. So switching career is not something that I look forward. Yes, switching career from communication background to human capital, yes. I think I feel at the moment I'm at the right path. In HR, you're tested with your confidentiality because you know about a lot of people, about their personal issues or everything about them that is relevant to work is actually going through us. So even though you may be in one team in human capital, but your next person shouldn't know what you know. So yeah, I think I'm all good. I won't switch career.
Okay.
For now, at least now. I don't think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So before we were shooting, you said before that you wanted to take psychology.
Yeah.
You decided to not take it.
Yeah.
Why? What was the reason?
Yeah.
Can you tell us more specific?
I was torn because when I'm not strong in math. Okay, I have to tell you. Okay. So when I was my mom's friend, in Germany when I was I visited my parents while they were posted there, And then I was going to enroll myself in the psychology program. And then she said, "Are you strong in your math?" And I was like, "No." Why is it? Does it require a lot of math? Yeah, the way she said it scared me, I think. And then also because I think if only I had more information that for some reason I thought that I wanted to go to Kamlu, right? So I think communication instead of HI, would be more acceptable as a background. But to be honest, human or psychology is something that is interesting. You know, you observe people and we all have a pattern. Yeah, kita semua sebenarnya punya pattern. So when after a while of observing some people or someone, you could actually kind of give a brief profile about them. You know, so psychology is actually knowing people from my current job with the psychology background. I think I'm amazed. You know, they have all this. How do you say it? Measurement on how to test people or on how to observe people, and there are a lot of there are a lot of ways, which of course because I don't have the psychology background, I would have to read it, but reading it with actually taking a course or study it would be very different. So yeah, but I think you should pursue psychology if you want it.
I did not really good at
I did not know that psychology has like math.
Yeah.
That's the least of my
Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah. But I'm sure you'll be fine. Don't let me be the one that stops you. No. Okay.
Okay.
So I can see that you guys really are thinking same to psychology. Possibly.
Maybe.
For
Possibly.
me, I'm more interested in criminal psychology.
Ooh,
yes.
Okay, that's deep. Okay.
In your high school, what were you interested in?
Okay,
So is it like different from what you are into now?
So my first 2 years in high school, I was actually in Qatar. So
Qatar.
so I didn't have the same syllabus or curriculum as here. So I was shocked when I came back here. Okay, I was not prepared because I got a scholarship to continue at that school, but my parents had to return back to Indonesia. So since I don't have family there, relative there, so they told me to just come back. Although some of my dad's colleagues had offered for me to stay there if we wanted, but I think it was best to return to Indonesia. So that time I was leaning towards whether to go for, I already know I wanted to either psychology, communication, or HI, or international relation. Those three, I already wanted to. I really wanted to try, but since like I said, I always have backup. I try to always have backup. So although I had those three interests, I ended up taking communication. I think when I arrived here, a lot of school here wanted me to repeat my year, okay, because my lack of knowledge, or it's very different, right? I don't have the full background for IPS or the full background for IPS. I gained 10 kilos because of that stress. Now, so I ended up going to Chandrawasih, which is a lot of anak Kemlu goes there, So I ended up taking extra classes, so I can keep up with the waktu itu apa ya, masih buannya, I don't know now, is it ujian akhir nasional? Is it still the same?
No, I think it has already been erased since I was in 6th grade.
Okay, okay, so I had that, so a lot of extra classes for that.
Do you have any dreams on going to universities in outside of Indonesia? did they offer you scholarships or something?
I think that time because I didn't apply to. I wanted to go to Germany because my parents were there for 4 years. So one of the summer I came, I was already on my 4th semester, and then my parents was like, "Are you sure you want to try here in Germany, in Hamburg to be precise? Because it's difficult. But you know, unless you meet those mahasiswa Indonesia, okay? So I ended up getting to know them. It was very difficult, and I was torn whether to start over, especially I already took 2 years of university, right? In Germany, you are required to speak German. So I did go to Goethe Institute with my sister, like for 3 or 4 months on a short course, just so we can go there and then the visa get approved and everything, despite my parents were there. But yeah, after speaking with the Indonesian students there, you're required to take 2 years language school, and then if you pass, then you can take the bachelor degree. So for me, it was a gamble whether I will be left behind while my other friends have graduated. If I started over, I mean, it would have been 2 years just gone like that. A lot of people would say, just take it, you know, gamble your future and everything. But I think that time I was too scared to leave my comfort zone, and maybe things would have different if I did. But I don't know if it would have been for the best. So I just believe that what I have now is like the best decision that is made for me. Yeah. So yeah. What about yourself? Any interest?
I mean, we did want to join the Cambridge program because we wanted to go to universities outside of Indonesia, and exploring the English language and just learning more about English. What about you, Shefa?
I think it's the same, but it's kind of hard adapting there because we are more obligated to analysis, but not to answer just a short answer, but we need to answer it briefly. Like first we need to explain about this, and then this, so like it's a lot.
Yeah, it's very different from the Indonesian curriculum. It was a culture shock.
Yeah, must be, yeah.
So about that, back then you went to school outside Indonesia. Can you tell us the comparisons of their curriculum in there and
Indonesia's curriculum?
Okay, so I went to Middle East international schools from year 7, 8, 9, 10. No, sorry. Yeah, year 8, grade 8. Yeah, grade 8. Okay, until grade 11, I was in Doha. Middle East International School is actually an American curriculum, so it's different. We were strong in American histories, and then English literature, which is why I lean towards to like Shakespeare, Hamlet, and those kind of things, right? So when I came here, a lot of history that I should have probably known my own heritage history, but I was not strong enough in that. Yeah. So and then I was also surprised because I had algebra, chemistry, but I think here in Indonesia it's a much more harder. For some reason, I think it's harder because I end up comparing my my book in grade 11 and then the one that I have in grade 12. Of course, I mean it's it's another step. But when I checked, I was like, whoa, like I think like this is not connecting so for some reason it's not, and then I think I was very much surprised for that, which is why I mean for me as a parent, right? Here in Indonesia, like my son is in grade 2 now, and he's learning all this math, which is good for him. Of course, in the near future, he would need those. But comparing to the curriculum that I have while working at British School Jakarta, it's of course it's different. But I think Indonesian are way ahead. You can say it's good. Okay, I'm not saying it's bad. But there are times when abroad, when I see parenting articles, you know, there is a reason why school doesn't start too early, like at a young age. Let them explore, let them play, let them hear. I mean, someone with 2 years old, 3 years old, they're already at school, you know, like learning. I mean, it's up to the parents as well. I don't blame them for being competitive or for preparing early, but in my opinion, at that age, let them be them, you know, because trust me, there will be time you need to be stressed, but not that early. So I think, yeah, in Indonesian curriculum is we're trying to be advanced, understandable, but is sometimes, in my opinion, not all means to be. I mean, I'm not saying it's not the appropriate age, but yeah, just a bit, you know.
Too advanced?
Yeah, too advanced in my opinion. I mean, you see people, kids in grade 1 stressed about homework. So how? You're in grade, you're in grade 1. Like, stress kids, stress parents. That's how, you know,
When I saw my brother doing maybe like a multiplication questions, and he was stressing. He was like about to cry.
I remember. Yeah. I remember in grade 2, I had to do multiplications, and I was so bad at it. I cried, so I'm sorry, but I cheated and like looked at my friends' work because I was so stressed.
Yeah. So you see, I mean, sometimes it's good to be more advanced, more prepared, and everything. But well, I'm not an expert. Okay, I'm sorry, whoever to the teachers. Okay, I'm not an expert. Okay, but in my opinion. Especially for the younger age. Sometimes when I see the curriculum, my son's homework, I'm like, ooh, he's already learning this, like, you know, because I had books from where I'm a sentimental person. Okay, I still have papers from when I was still in grade 6. So I keep them in a separate place. So I do have some books which goes back to where I was in Morocco. So in my junior high, elementary school, I was in Morocco. And then I looked to what my son is learning, and I was like, why is it? I mean, I know that even everything develops, right? It's been a couple of years, like, you know, but still, I'm assuming even back then, maybe something similar to it, you know. So, yeah, I think it's very advanced, which is good in a way, but also you have to kind of think whether it's the right time as well. Depends on the school you go see. Some school they give a lot of homework. Some school they don't give it as a homework, but more like an activity, or you know, it could be still a math problem solving, but in a different type of activity. So it depends on the school you go see, I think.
We also have like friends in our regular program, and when they see our question papers, they were like, "Are you sure you're learning this?" Yes. They were so shocked because like we needed to write and evaluate things, and they were like,
"Yes."
What?
Yeah, I had a friend in social class 2. And like when they saw like questions on like sociology, they were like really shocked because like it's completely different from what they're learning. And yeah, and you know, sociology, you know, it sometimes stresses us out. You know? I'm sorry, Miss Human. Sorry, Miss Human.
No offense, no offense.
So like when you entered Indonesia, you took IPA, right?
IPS.
Oh, IPS. Wait,
remember, I'm not good with math.
Oh yeah, you're not good. So like, what? So did you learn like sociology, right? And economy.
I did.
What was it like, you know?
When I learned pembukuan, accounting.
Us right now.
We also learned accounting in like the national curriculum, and it was, oh my god, it was so hard because in the Cambridge curriculum we were learning about more like
equilibrium,
work problems.
Yeah,
like,
work problems.
Like we're trying to be part of the government. Like we're trying to solve the government's problem.
Yeah, but like then accounting and using the Indonesian curriculum. I'm sorry, Miss Dila. We keep mentioning teachers. They're not gonna watch this though, except for Mr. Nofan.
Maybe she's probably laughing at this.
Yeah. I think we can just edit that out. Yeah. Like, were you stressed about like learning accounting like us?
Yes. Do you have that book yang panjang?
Oh,
No,
we,
we use digital.
we use Excel.
Yeah.
I just gave away my years. Okay. Yeah, anak tahun 86 nggak lah.
But like the regular
I
classes,
think
they
they're still using the book.
Oh, they
are.
are because I saw it in some of the book. Yeah, I mean, of course, at offices I see people still using that, but I wasn't sure if you're using it at school. Yeah, it was stressful. I'm not gonna lie. Okay,
Yeah,
because-
when I saw my friend's notes and I saw, I'm like, okay, maybe it's great that I'm using Excel right now.
Instead of books.
Yes.
We need to like make lines,
Yeah,
make tables.
yes. I experienced that.
It's hard, but I'm grateful that we don't have to go through that. But what about sociology though?
Yeah.
Did you like sociology?
Well, I did, but not like that much. But I like it because sociology is always something interesting.
I
So,
see.
yeah.
What did you learn in sociology?
I cannot remember. It's been a while. Sorry,
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Okay.
But it was not. It was not. What do you say? Mata pelajaran. It was not the subject that I disliked. So I remember, sociology is fine. You know, dulu masih ada PPKN ya, PPKN.
We
Oh, we still have it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
But it's not really have a specific
Schedule.
The schedule.
We don't really have a schedule.
Mm.
And seni budaya too, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Anything that goes with math, I would be like.
No, yes,
Nah,
I'm sorry, sir.
Sorry.
Seriously, keep mentioning.
Yeah, Mr. Hoffman is gonna laugh at this unless we edit this out. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. But I don't think we can edit this out because like this is funny and like for comedy too.
Yeah.
Comedy. So, other than math, what was the subject you hated the most?
I think anything that goes math, biology, chemistry. Because before I moved here, when I moved here, I took IPS, right? But while I was in Doha, I mean, I also had chemistry, biology, so I think all those kind of. I think I'm more challenged when people tell me stories or like literature, history, those kind of things. I like because it makes more sense to me. I mean, there's a flow of, but when biology, I mean, for some reason, it's not my cup of tea. So
It makes people dizzy.
yeah, you have to dissect those frogs or things like that.
Wait, you have to dissect frogs?
And then I forgot the part that we took, and then we have to look for the
Oh, okay.
virus.
And that is the IPS experience.
I don't think do the anak IPAs,
I don't know
actually
now. I don't
Maybe
know.
there's still.
No,
My
no.
mom used to tell me that she's a IPA student, so she was like, the frog. She like she opened the stomach and then.
Damn, that is so gross. I think they still do that though.
I think it's part of the praktek, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
something.
But that is so gross. I would barf immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, but like when you entered Indonesia and you took IPS, what was the subject that you hated the most when you learned using the Indonesian curriculum?
Apart from the accounting. Let's see. Sports? Okay, I'm not strong in sports.
Oh.
We never had sports.
So, okay, probably that too.
Sports,
Yeah,
yeah.
because ever since I was young, sports was not my thing.
Yeah, I'm not athletic.
Yeah.
I'm more into history and sociology.
So maybe we're in the same group, yeah.
Maybe you have the same grade cells.
Yeah, so I think there was a lot of adjustment, especially accounting. I didn't have accounting when I was in.
So like when you learned accounting, you were like, I was like
Oh,
shocked, like
yeah.
Pikachu, this is so new.
Yeah, it was so new. I mean, math itself was like, you have algebra, right? Like trying to solve X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, even now.
Should move on from math.
Yeah, but I think it's when I learned accounting and then even sociology itself kan kalau di it's very different than what I learned, right? So, but even though that was something new to me, but I still could cope up. My brain was like catching up because that is all words, right?
Yeah.
But with math, I'm sorry, math, sports, nah, I'm just gonna tell you, like passing point is like woohoo.
We're just saying. I would be happy if
As long as it's not red, I'm fine.
Yeah. Wait, since we live in a completely different generation here. What do you think is an advantage to us that you never experienced during your high school years?
Okay, I think being online.
Oh yeah,
yes.
it really affects us.
Yes.
Because I think, when was that? I started using computer. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. When I moved to Doha, actually, that was my parents had PC in the past, but I never explored them. Yeah, I remember my parents when returning from Saudi, their first stop post was Saudi, and then they brought it Saudi and then Morocco. I remember I saw a computer, but I never used it because maybe I was too young. And when I arrived here, it was like grade 6. I had class of computer, kayak mata pelajaran, but that was like once in a week but I didn't really use it much, right? So I think now the advantage is online. Ever since the pandemic, online learning is something online learning and work from home is something that is maybe beyond everyone's mind back in my early years, okay? Because people, padahal in the past juga udah ada people, especially from agency, marketing agency, or there are people that already started working online, tapi it was still not common. So your advantage is actually online. Why? Because even my son now, he's like also fast learning with all this, with my laptop and everything. And then now, without actually leaving your house, you could actually take French class, German, or anything. Being present for seminars or workshop, a lot of things. So, which I didn't have that. During my university, I took French at the French culture place, but I had to be physically there, like it was consuming like time-wise. You have to spend money on transportations and everything. Now you have actually the options to get as many information or be in so many different communities without actually being present there. So I think that's one of your forte for your generation now. It's all accessible. Back on Instagram, sometimes I see, maybe because of the algorithm that I search for school or anything, take your master degree in Singapore.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Okay. Without actually, you have to be there. You have without actually. Maybe you have to be there for certain occasions, but not like the full year. With thinking the expensive cost of living cost, like eating there is expensive, living there is expensive. You can actually do it while you're here. There are a lot of programs now, like even Harvard. They have, but this is not for bachelor. Yeah, they had I saw a program. I think it was a more short course program led by Harvard, where you don't actually have to be there. Those kind of things, which is amazing. Also, I understand that it's not maybe easy to get in there, but still. With being online, especially the pandemic, I think it leads an open world where you're able to access anything from everywhere, as long as you want to sacrifice the different time zone, perhaps, or things like that.
Yeah, technology really, gave us an advantage, and we're now. We can consume lots of educational stuff just through our phones, laptops. So yeah, I guess that is an advantage.
Remember, you don't have to go through that book again. You're using Excel, so compared to me, and then kalau garisnya itu nggak presisi, it gets stressed out. You have OCD, yeah.
Our regular friends.
Okay, yeah.
Experience.
I still have flashbacks with accounting. Oh my god. Do you miss, living abroad though? And you miss
their environment. It's different from in here.
Yeah, I do. I think because since I was born, the pattern would be my parents 4 years abroad, 2 or 3 years in Indonesia, and then 4 years abroad, and then the same 2 or 3 years in Indonesia. There was a phase where I really missed it, and that's why I wanted so much to go to Kamloops, but it was not my path. I tried twice, but you're kind of like, competing with so many people, and they're so much smarter, perhaps, not perhaps, I am sure they're much more smarter than I am. So, sometimes they say luck as well, right? So, yeah, I do, but so now, since I wouldn't say that the opportunity closes, but like I'm trying to be realistic. I did apply for some jobs abroad, or scholarship, but scholarship is not all scholarship will, how do you say, allow you to bring your family. Even if they do, you have to support them themselves, which makes it expensive. You don't have earnings. How are you supposed to support your family to go, right? So, yeah, I do miss, but somehow I still haven't found the way. Maybe, I don't know, somehow. I just need to make my own money in business, probably. Jadi pengusaha, itu pasti bisa. So, yeah.
Okay. The curriculums. Which curriculums do you like better? Out of all the curriculums you've experienced, like in the Indonesian one, the Moroccan one, like the American one, like all of the curriculums that you've ever experienced, which one do you like the best? And which one do you think is the best?
It's more suited for students.
Yeah.
I think the one in Morocco is still too small, too young to really remember. But I did really like my school, so it's called Petit Collège. Okay, so it has, if I'm not mistaken, from kindergarten and then until high school. Okay, so they have sections. I was there since I think grade 1 until grade 5. Yeah, grade 1, mid-grade 1. I remember I was transferring school. In the French school, Morocco, they use French curriculum. Okay, so there was a lot of creating project even back then, but in a fun way. So what I remember during my stay in Rabat was school was very fun somehow. Yeah, but to be honest, to be able to judge throughout my experience, I would find it a bit biased because I was still very young to acknowledge all that. All I remember, I felt I was so happy in that school because you're doing a lot of projects instead of like memorizing. While when I returned to Indonesia, which was my grade 6, 7, I was in Indonesia. I remember having to memorize a lot of things. Menteri siapa, terus undang-undang. Yeah, I've experienced that. Yeah, memang perlu for general knowledge, okay. But for some reason, I get stressed from that. It should come to you naturally. Like the same thing. You read, you sing a song, right?
Right.
You sing it because you're actually trying to remember the words, but it's telling you stories, which is why it goes so easy for you to. Maybe if I say menteri ini and then rap bit apa, maybe it goes I'm sorry, but yeah, to me memorizing by force itu yang malah kayak membal gitu loh.
It's like pressuring.
Yourself. Yeah. I think from my observation while I was in Doha as well, they give you tasks. But they test you to make a group presentations. I think a lot of sekarang di Indonesia juga udah kayak gitu sih, right? Group presentations and stuff like that. Like what you're doing now is actually good because you're not just reading something from your textbook, okay, how to do podcasts about or how to ask questions. No, but you're putting yourself you're diving into it and then you're experiencing it, and then from that you can take notes like, okay, so the experience is your answers is what you're because
you get more knowledge
from it.
Practical.
Practical. Instead of having to just, read textbook and then work on worksheets, which is necessary, of course, but, maybe some percentage in that and then more in practical, so it's very different. So, which is why some people they are fresh graduate and then they go directly to master. But you know, when from us in human capital, he's still a fresh graduate. Despite his a master degree, unless during his master or her master degree, he's also working or something. But apart from that, he's still a fresh graduate, right? No experience of whatsoever. So I think, yeah, you have to kind of like, you know, decide for yourself what is best. But in this time, you know, where a lot of people are doing a lot of things to enhance themselves, so you know, it's always best to upgrade yourself through the experience. So I think I would say that.
When you entered high school in Indonesia, did you join
Any organizations
yes,
or
like-
activities?
like-
Are you like active?
Well, Paskibra. Oh, how Paskibra itu sih, and then because I was so busy on my third year, itu di grade 12. That's the only thing, Paskibra, and then I did some French. I took some French course, tapi nggak di SAZ ya. Dulu panggilannya Centre Culturel Français, SAZ di Wijaya. Sekarang tuh kalau nggak salah dia udah beda nama, Annex kalau nggak salah panggilannya. Itu di Wijaya. So sebelumnya, because while I was in Morocco, my school was French. We speak French, but the thing about language, if you don't speak it, you can understand, but somehow it's a bit difficult to apply. So I did take that in my during grade 12. Tapi nggak yang seformal sampai punya si sertifikat. Walaupun akhirnya during my uni years, I think on my second year, I end up I enrolled myself taking French, okay, but now since I haven't used it in a while, ya itu bahasa. That's the thing about language. If you don't use it, and then you understand, you read, and then you hear things on TV.
But you couldn't say it out loud.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult. So if it's only like briefly, like je m'appelle Fira, je suis tonton, kayak gitu kan, 36 tahun gitu kan. Misalnya very basic, yeah. But once people start speaking like really fast, excusez-moi, est-ce que vous pouvez répéter? Nah kayak gitu jadi kalau yeah, that's the thing. So French, I took French, and then also at school, Paskibra. During grade 12, I was actually school president, ketua OSIS. Okay?
Oh, that's so cool.
So in Doha, they don't take it for the grade 12. They don't do any more organization because you're supposed to be focusing on what you're going to. So it stops in grade 11. So yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. What made you want to join Paskibra?
Because first, while we're in Doha, there's always celebration for the Independence Day, and then there were a lot of Indonesians citizens as well there, especially from Aceh, because their background is oil and gas, right? So I ended up making friends through Paskibra actually. So why I like it, because I think Paskibra is teaching you how to be disciplined.
Yes.
Loving your country, of course.
Yes.
And then I don't know, somehow for me, discipline through Paskibra is it, because my coach was also very serious. Jadi kayak Paskibra, it's kind of shaped. Although itu kan Paskibra juga bukan yang kalau di while I was there, it was not something that you do every week. Yeah, it's especially when there's certain events. But when I return here, of course, Paskibra is like every Monday, right? By turn, by turn.
Yes.
So yeah.
Did you enjoy Paskibra? Because like
I did.
You did?
Yeah. At first, I was kind of scared because my coach was like very serious. So I was like, what? Even when we're on a break, guys, don't eat like, because I eat like, you know, like trying to be slow and table manner. It's like, no, eat like. Yeah. You have to be like if your time 2 minutes, it's 2 minutes, okay?
And like, Paskibra, like you said, it teaches us about being disciplined.
Yeah.
I've heard stories from my other friends that what they joined Paskibra in like other schools. when they eat, they eat when the whistle blows, so like "Preet," and then they have to swallow before the whistle blows. That's like when I heard that, I was like, damn.
I didn't experience that piracy.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. I just find out now.
Yeah. So wait, do any other countries have like extracurriculars like paskibra?
Well, while I was in my school, see, no, because it's an international school, but we didn't celebrate misalnya kayak 4th of July or anything like that. No. When we have Qatar International Day, we don't have flag rising. I mean, like to make it kayak the way we did. No, I mean they did flag rise, but no special ceremony like paskibra. Yeah. So I don't know if specifically in their country they did the same.
What about the British school? Do they do that when we have our August 17th, like rising the flag?
Yes, the students actually, the expats are the one they learn. Yeah, so they learn. Sometimes ada yang baca doanya. Okay, so we have a program Indonesian studies. So apart from their other subjects, they're actually learning about Indonesia and bahasa Indonesia as well, which includes paskibra itu. Yeah.
Do you miss, like being, but do you miss, everything? Do you miss like going out in like other countries and like experiencing the culture? Because like I've been in Indonesia my whole life. Indonesia is primarily a homogeneous country, so I don't really get to experience other cultures. So do you miss that? And do you miss the variety of cultures and new cultures that's new to you? Do you miss that?
Yeah, I do. I think that feeling is kind of getting better because I'm actually in an international environment where I can still use English to communicate, or sometimes French with some of the teachers. That feeling is a little bit, covered because like I feel like I'm actually surrounded with people who are who are different than I am. I'd say culture-wise, So yeah, but of course, yeah, I do miss. I mean, I think seeking opportunities to work abroad is, it's not as easy, especially for me now, unless I'm I'm a specialist in what I'm doing, but I'm still lacking of that year, right? So it's a bit, but of course, I miss, So while you have the opportunity, explore.
If you have the money though.
Scholarships, there are a lot of scholarships. Yeah. Even
Do you have any tips for like scholarships?
for scholarship, I think while I was working at British Embassy, I noticed that they have that chevening program. And they open a certain time of the year, and it's actually a good program, so you might want to check that. Or maybe if chevening is not your criteria, you can also check. I think a lot of Korean are also opening Japanese and Korean as well. Yeah. And when I see there are a lot of good programs with good benefits as well, because some are not fully funded, but I see that there are a lot that are fully funded as well. Yeah. Even one of my friends, she was in Korea because of scholarship. So
In international schools, they have like weird extracurriculars that you would like find odd.
The one for me here, no. I think it's all still the same, like taekwondo, gymnastics. Yeah, those kind of thing. I mean, our school is one of the best for its theater program. Okay,
Theater, I
Theater.
there's that theater.
Yeah, drama. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like one of the best. And also, we've been also participating in national swimming competitions. Okay, so yeah, I think. But other than that, other things are almost similar.